and welcome to Talking Tent, a show about movies, TV, and all the content we can possibly consume.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Irma.
Today we are talking the first 4 episodes of Silo. Only Murders in the Building is back. Old Zach watched Twisted Metal and started Justified. And finally, we watched a little trashy rom-com on Amazon called Red, White, and Royal Blue. But first, some marital bliss. Irma, what'd we do?
We went to Miami. We took my mom.
Miami.
Yeah, we were there for what, 4 days? Something
Thursday,
like
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
3.5 days.
Yeah, it was fun. It was very hot. I feel like you and my mom both struggled with the heat.
It was way too hot. I
Yeah.
mean, as expected, Miami in August.
Yeah. I mean, it was really nice, though. I was very impressed with the hotel, and we had some really nice dinners. And yeah, I think we just had a nice time,
We
right?
had a nice time. We sat on the beach. Then after I turned to a crispy lobster, we sat by the pool.
Which
and
you
then-
don't look so bad
I
right
know,
now.
it actually wasn't that bad. And then the pool was warmer than outside, I think.
Yeah, the
so
pool
it was
was
like,
so hot.
it's kinda
It was
nasty.
weird.
it's just a weird pool. They need to put like a cooler.
Yeah, it's also a small pool for
Yeah.
the hotel, I thought. I think that should have been
It
bigger,
was kind
but
of a small hotel.
sure.
It's only like 11 floors.
And they had a lot of weddings, too, which I thought was so weird. It was like a wedding every day.
Yeah, crazy to get married right now in Miami. But yeah, it was nice. The Palms Hotel and Spa, not a sponsor.
Yeah, don't give them any free
But hey,
ads.
feel free to contact us and win a chance to be a sponsor on Talkin Tent, everyone's favorite podcast about movies and television and marriage. Yeah, what highlights? Just sitting on the beach. You were saying, and at first I, as I tend to do, unfortunately, naysayed you a little bit of being like, you just like how Miami is set up, at least Miami Beach. Unfortunately, we don't. When we go there, we don't spend that much time in like Miami. We just don't know where to go.
What are you talking about? I know where to go. I tried taking you guys.
We went to the Design District in Wynwood. That's no more Miami.
We did go to Wynwood. That's
yeah,
the
but
thing.
like that's what you're talking about. That's no
Yeah.
more real Miami.
I
Than,
mean, South Beach is not our scene whatsoever.
not.
We went to South Beach and I felt very out of
oh,
place.
it's the worst. So the hotel we were in was more like Mid Beach or North Beach. I don't know exactly how they define it. So up by us, it was nice and calm. But then we did go down there once, and it's mayhem. It sucks. But you were saying I was like, man, Miami. I don't know if we have to come back here. But you were saying like it's just nice how the hotels to beach are.
Yeah,
And
like
I was
I
like, that's-
really like that.
I was thinking like that's every city that's on the
think
water. But the
so.
more I think about it, it's not really until you leave the country. Like the Caribbean
Well, I just
destination
love,
spots are like that. Like San Juan is like that.
Like you can walk out to the beach and they have like this whole setup of chairs and umbrellas and like they do it for you. Or if you don't want to sit by the pool or by the beach for that long, you go to the pool. And I just
Yeah.
like being able to choose, and then you get waiter service. And I don't know, like, yeah, sure, it adds up. Like we spent a lot of freaking
Too
money
much
for 4
money.
days, but I don't know. I just find that really nice. Like when I go on like this type of vacation, I don't want to have to worry about anything. I want to just be able to sit by the beach or the pool and like get a glass of water if I need it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I like how it's set up.
Yeah. At least on the East Coast, it's kind of like the only city like that, like resort type city. Like if
Yeah.
you're not going to go to Cancun or
yeah,
Tulum or
yeah. True.
Puerto Rico. So
Yeah, because I guess like when we went to Tulum, it was like
Yeah.
that. They had the pool and then the beach, but not the same. Well, the 2 hotels we went to, but different. Like the pools weren't like right on the beach almost.
yeah, well, Tulum, everything's a lot smaller.
Yeah.
Miami's like a massive city.
Anyway.
But yeah, it was lovely. Sit on the beach. Now I got to keep my tan.
Oh, we went to one really good Cuban restaurant, I thought.
We did.
And what did you say after we left?
That I could do better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to do it tomorrow. Yeah, it was like a Cuban diner. I looked on the internet for the best Cuban food in Miami, and this was the only one that's on Miami Beach. I didn't feel like going over the bridges into the real city, and this was easier, but it was more like a Cuban diner.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah, and Irma got arroz con pollo, which took 45 minutes to cook,
Mhm.
which I actually appreciated. We were in no rush, first of all.
No, we
And-
got there early because we needed to get out of the heat. We were like, oh, let's go to South Beach and walk around, and then we'll go to this restaurant. It was a bad
Mistake.
idea. Yeah.
So then we sat at the restaurant, and they made, fresh arroz con pollo, which is nice. It took
Mhm.
that long because they actually slow cooked the chicken in the pot for that long. Like, they didn't just have it sitting and ready to go. So I appreciated that. I just think I can do it. Like, there's some technique. There's some technique with like searing the chicken first,
Yeah.
searing off the vegetables first. You add flavor, the Maillard reaction.
Mm.
They didn't do that at all. They just threw everything into a pot and cooked it for half an hour.
I'm
There's
fine with
technique,
that.
baby.
I thought it was amazing.
I'm going to make a better one tomorrow, and then we're going to come back next week, and I'm just going to say, yeah, you're right. But actually, she probably won't admit it.
We'll see.
What do we got? We got some industry talk. Irma sent me an article just like an hour ago that apparently Armando Iannucci of Veep fame is making...
Avenue 5, too, which we watched.
Right, I'm going to get to that.
Oh, sorry.
Is making a satirical superhero franchise show again for HBO. So it's not like it's kind of like, well, it's the bubble. So Judd Apatow already did this. But it's about the making of superhero movies and being stuck in like franchise death. It's not actually a satirical superhero movie.
I imagine his take on it is going to be very funny. Like Veep was hilarious. And I just feel like he can make so many good like in-jokes about that. I don't know. I'm excited to see where he takes it, especially on HBO, mocking the MCU. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, potentially very good. The only thing I was thinking is Avenue 5 is like fine at best.
Yeah. Okay, so not everything worked.
And most people credit Veep as getting really good after he left.
Oh.
And David Mandel took over. So he was only there for like the first 2 seasons, and they were good, but then it like really started taking off after he left and a different guy took over. So maybe he's an ideas man and somebody else should actually execute. But we'll see. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt that this could be very funny and very good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. I feel like, I don't know. Also, I find it funny. Well, not funny, but like.
Find it kind of funny.
That like now that superhero movies are starting to get like spoofed, kind of like I think about like Scary Movie. Yeah, exactly. It's like almost like the end, which is kind of exciting, but also a little sad at the same time because it like dominated for so long. And it's just like we're living through history.
Oh my God. What's going to take over next?
I know.
Barbie.
Rom-coms are back.
Movies about dolls.
I know, it's
10
true.
years.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I saw an article. Next topic. I saw a quick article headline. Peter Jackson agrees with me on Talk to Me. He said it is the best, most intense horror movie he's seen in years.
Isn't he Australian? He would say that.
Isn't he from New Zealand? That was like the whole reason why
right.
he did.
He's New Zealandish.
He's a Kiwi.
Is that really what you say, Kiwi? You don't say like a New Zealander or something?
Actually, I believe they just say New Zealand. He is New Zealand. I don't know.
He is the country.
What? New Zealand?
Because Kiwi is a bird, right? That's why they call them?
New Zealander. And Kiwi. Anyway.
So exciting content. Googling.
He agrees. Talk to Me was freaking awesome. Go see it if you haven't. And we got breaking news today.
Breaking?
Yeah. It's like, it's industry adjacent. Michael Orr, the football player.
Oh, I did see this.
Is coming out apparently famous from the Blind Side story.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That the Tuohys, I think that, I forget even if that's how you pronounce it.
That is how you say it.
Like the whole thing was a bunch of bullshit and they never adopted him. They just brought him under a conservatorship, another conservatorship, Free Britney, same thing. And basically just like took his story and sold it without his involvement. And he hasn't apparently seen any of the money from all of this. And all of them are millionaires because they got kickbacks from how successful the movie was. And obviously a lot of press, and he is finally coming out. I'm not sure what took so long, but finally coming out and saying that I think he's suing. So we'll see.
Yeah.
And like, it's literally happening right now. So who knows what's coming of that. I kind of remember that while he was playing, he simply did not talk about it. Like, I think he would actually, I'm trying to think of like, what did he say back when the movie came out and he was playing? And I think he just didn't comment on it. Maybe because like he was just concentrated. He was like,
I mean, did he get like his salary like would be his, right?
That I don't know. I assume so.
Okay. I don't really understand how conservatorships work. Because I know for Britney,
yeah, Britney wise, it seemed like all of her money was controlled by her father.
Exactly. So
this, I don't think so. They're only talking about the movie and the rights and all that. I imagine his football salary. So I think while he was playing, he was kind of just like, this is my job and that's what I'm concentrating on. And he's been retired. That's
kind of why,
And he was probably just gathering and information and stuff and talking to lawyers and waiting for the time. But interesting.
Sad,
Another sad conservatorship, white people taking advantage of a poor guy. And what are you going to do? We'll see where this actually, obviously this is all breaking news and most of it's allegations. So
get Sandra back in the.
Yeah, Sandra's back for like the courtroom drama of dealing with all of this. All right. So it is TV time. And I guess we will start with Silo. We talked about starting this show that everybody's been buzzing about. I read the book, so that definitely colors at least how I'm reacting to these first 4 episodes.
But every time I ask you about the book, you don't seem to remember it.
Well, why am I going to tell you what happened?
No, I'm not saying that, but I just ask, like, oh, is this like
I mean, I
how
don't
you
remember every
it?
Single detail because it was like
that's not what I'm asking you about.
10
every
years
detail.
ago, at least that I read it, maybe more. But what I do remember is pretty big. So I'm not going to tell you that. And it's, yeah, again, it's like definitely coloring my reaction to the first 4 episodes. Cause to me, it's kind of slow. But that's also just because I know where this is all going.
Okay.
I do appreciate, I liked how they did basically episode 1 was like Rashida Jones's story.
Yeah.
Which then led to episode 2, which is David Oyelowo's story.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of just like mystery, then add to the mystery with him. And then finally we get to the main character of Rebecca Ferguson and who's going to be the rest of the show. But Irma, you don't know what's happening.
I do not.
So what do you think?
I really like it, honestly. I like Rebecca Ferguson a lot. And it's kind of funny, like, she's obviously British.
Another Brit not using her accent.
And it's just funny because it does definitely come through a lot. And so we'll like, whenever she says a funny word, we just like tend to repeat it. But other than that, yeah, no, it's really good. I want to know what the mystery is so bad.
We got a long way ahead. We got to start watching.
Well,
we watched episode 4.
Well, we went away.
I know.
We had a beautiful time in Miami.
I know.
Stop complaining.
I'm not complaining. I was just saying, like, I didn't realize it was 10 episodes.
Okay.
To continue this
I'm happy
mystery.
to watch tonight. But okay, so the first season is what? The first book?
I assume so.
Okay. How many books are there?
I am aware of at least 3.
Okay.
But he could have kept going. I don't know.
Okay. Well,
and it is absolutely. It is already, the second season is already happening.
Like already in production.
I think so. Well, obviously not currently, but I'm pretty sure. I just looked on IMDb and it had like some of the actors over 10 episodes, so it's like already happening.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I really like it. I like it a lot. I find it very interesting. We'll see the worst part of it, I would say, is Common.
Always. The second I saw him in the credits and he showed up, I was like, oh no, Common.
Yeah.
He's been quiet for a while because he's bad. He's a bad actor. He's a bad rapper. Sorry, Common. I know you're listening.
Yeah, it's hard for me to really give too much of a comment because we watch this. I feels like so long ago now, but I mean, in general, I definitely really liked it. I like David Oyelowo a lot. I really like Rashida Jones. I know, and like she was only in the first episode, and yeah, now she's gone. So hopefully they come back, even though it doesn't feel like from what you're saying that they will. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, it is a cool, grittier dystopian future, post-apocalyptic, trapped in one spot. It's also interesting. It's cool that it's like not outside. So I'm going to talk about Twisted Metal very soon, which is like all outside, but it's like what we see all the time with like the roads with abandoned cars and like overgrown plants and rusted out buildings. This is like all just a underground bunker. So they kind of got to choose what was dystopian or post-apocalyptic about it. And it's really not much other than they're just kind of living pretty with like
in a
not
silo.
the best, right? But like there's no glitz or glamour. There's like nothing. It's all just cement.
Yeah, and I also like the touch of the fake windows. I do find that very funny. Like in the police station, they have like the metal blinds behind
Mhm.
them, and there's obviously like no windows to look out because they're underground, but it's just like a light panel to give them the illusion of light, and I really like touches like that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how they pull this off. I've even heard from people that didn't read the book that like it's a little slow to start, even to them. So I think it's going to start picking up big time.
Well, is David Oyelowo's character like a big character in the book?
I don't remember.
Okay, so then no.
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose I could Google this, but I actually don't remember the main character being a woman.
Oh.
I think they might have gender swapped it. But I could also be completely wrong.
Yeah, don't look it up because I'll probably give you a spoiler and we're behind.
And we started watching Only Murders in the Building. Irma, what do you think of Only Murders in the Building season 3?
I mean, I love this show. I find all of the people in the show really great. I like that it kind of like tricks you into thinking, so we're going to spoil who dies, I guess, if you haven't watched it. Paul Rudd is in this cast, and I love that they like kill him at this theater, but like kind of fake you out at the end of last season, and then they end up actually killing him in the building, which I think is like really funny. And I like that like Paul Rudd is really having fun with this. Like he's really making fun of himself with the Cobra, whatever it is, because he played Ant-Man. And just like, I don't know, like even like all of the posters in the stalker's house, like they were all like fake names of like movies he's done. I don't know. I just found it really hilarious. And then Meryl Streep is a new addition to the cast, and she was great. Oh my God. I was cackling when she was doing her accents at the table read for the play. Yeah, I just think this show is really.
What happened?
Do you not remember?
There's a stalker and that person killed him?
No.
How do they know no?
I don't know, because he didn't kill them, because he was blaming Steve Martin and Selena Gomez for killing him.
Oh, right. They thought they figured it out right away. Yeah, it's fine. I don't know if I didn't love the he's dead, he's not dead, he's dead.
I actually kind of liked
that. It's like a
that.
funny goof, I guess, but like why? But
well,
I guess
also because it kind
be...
of like introduces you to like all of the characters and his relationship to them. I don't know. I liked that.
Well, it was a way for it because he apologized for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so it gave like everybody a reason.
Yeah.
Without a detective figuring that out. It was like him. Well, I guess that's kind of funny. Like the trope of when the detective figures out every.
Well, also the detective is not here anymore. She was doing, what's that show on HBO that you love? The Idol. She was on The Idol. And so she decided to film that instead of coming back for this season.
Oh. What else?
So the only
Meryl
thing...
Streep.
Oh, go ahead.
Meryl Streep was really funny. It's really interesting with like legendarily good actors. It's like what actually makes someone good at acting, and then especially when you do a role like this, where it's like she's goofing on herself for being a really good actress by being a really good actress, and it's crazy how convincing and like compelling her little weird characters and like the accent thing. It's so weird that she is so good. But like, why is she so good? It's so hard to pinpoint acting. Like, why?
I don't know.
But she's like, it's so, when someone is like definitively like, wow, a fantastic
it's just like
actor.
being able to see it. I mean, she's definitely still playing a character, but then when she like turns on like the character of like that's being portrayed in the play, and then you see like this like shift come over her, like I love that.
Yeah.
You know? The only thing I would have to say negatively about this is like, are we sure Selena Gomez is a good actress? I know, I'm gonna be canceled. I understand she's playing the heart of the show. She is like essentially what we call like the straight man. She, especially with Steve Martin and Martin Short, like they really bounce off of her. And I think they really have taken her under their wing, and like the three of them together, I really love. But now bringing in Paul Rudd, who's doing like a crazy outlandish performance, Meryl Streep, who's like also at a 10. And then you have Selena Gomez, who like half the time, I can't even understand what she's saying.
Oh, stop it.
And I'm just like, I don't know. I just feel like her performance is very flat. And then you have like all these amazing performers around her. And it kind of, I don't know. I just feel like you see the cracks. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it's valid to bring up. She is also given an incredibly difficult task of being surrounded by literal legends.
Yeah, I know.
Like if there was a hall of fame for acting or comedic acting, I mean, Martin Short and Steve Martin are first ballot Hall of Famers.
Mm-hmm.
Now they put like the best actress of all time.
Yeah.
Just to mess around. Paul Rudd is like always good. So yeah, I don't know. She's good.
Yeah.
She is given a tough job. I think the first season she did well.
Yeah, I think she did really well.
Well, because she also got to play around with other younger people. And now it's like just kind of her. She feels like a little out of place at this point.
She does, I think.
But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to compare when you're just surrounded by legends.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah. And also, I think the play is going to turn into a musical later in the season.
Well, maybe she can sing.
So hopefully, yeah, they can use her more, like, I don't know, in the play.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Who killed Paul Rudd?
Also, can I give my theory?
Sure. I have no theory. I can't even remember what happened. The sun took it all out of me. The Miami Heat. Oh my God.
Okay, so Paul Rudd has his brother that he drags around with him. So he's maybe like option A, or maybe he's option B, actually. My option A is they showed him for literally 2 seconds, and so we're gonna forget about him.
Spoiler alert.
How's this a spoiler? This is my theory.
Just telling people.
So during this episode, they're making like Paul Rudd is like doing a documentary about making or doing this play, and the guy who's filming it is what's his name?
I don't remember.
You know who he is? Wasn't he on Grey's Anatomy and stuff? I don't know. Anyway, so I think it's going to be the camera person.
I don't want to look up who it is because it's going to tell me how many episodes they're in.
So I feel like, yeah, the first 2 seasons is mainly about making a podcast. And I like that they brought in like the idea of making like this documentary. And then, of course, like what happens at the end of the first or second episode, whichever we watched, Paul Rudd dies. And imagine getting that in your documentary. Like that would make your career. And then he doesn't die. So maybe he pushes him. I don't know. To make sure that he does die. So his documentary is like the best of all time. I don't know.
So it's the documentarian.
The documentarian.
We don't know who that is, though.
I
cannot figure out who it is. Fair enough. Check out for episode 3 coming out
and the person who poisoned him and pushed him might not be the same person. So we'll see.
Wow.
Listen, I also just finished new Agatha Christie, but well, not a new one, but new to me. And so this is just my mind has been spinning.
Arma is all murder mysteries all the time.
Yeah.
She just read the new movie that's coming out is loosely based on.
Yeah, I think it's like a seance in Venice or something.
A murder.
Oh, a murder in Venice. About to say.
But the book is called Halloween Party. We'll see. Comes out soon, actually.
Yes, I can't wait.
Now it's time for Zach. I watched Twisted Metal. Irma was not interested.
I don't really understand what this show is. I thought it was a cartoon.
I think you would have liked it, actually. It is very different and maybe better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be pretty violent. It is. but way more serious. It is not. It is very much a goof, like a over the top, funny at times, just ridiculous romp. And it's also, it turns out, well, I'll just keep going without spoilers. I would recommend it. Also, there's 10 episodes. They're all under 30 minutes long. It's on Peacock. And like, I was pretty riveted. I wanted to see what was happening. Like, I was never bored, which I can rarely say about a lot of shows. Like, it was funny enough. I'd say the first 15 to 20 minutes, maybe even the first full episode, I was like, oh man, like this is kind of lame. But then it gets going, and they also introduce a lot more characters because Zach's about to make more enemies with people. First Common, now Anthony Mackie.
Well, I also said Selena Gomez.
And Selena Gomez. Oh my God, we're taking out people left and right. We love you all. We love Selena Gomez.
Well, you love Selena Gomez.
Everybody loves Selena Gomez. She seems so delightful.
She does.
So Anthony Mackie is a good actor. I think he's good in Marvel. I think he's good in this show when it gets sentimental or when he like has to be more dramatic. He is simply not funny enough for this role. And he has to be pretty funny and just like I don't know what it is. Again, acting. We're exploring acting. And there's just something about...
He needs to be on a show with Meryl Streep.
Yeah, there's just something about his comedic timing, his delivery, that like any lines that he says that are supposed to be funny are just not funny. And he's the lead. So that is the big downfall. But everybody else is really good.
So can you remind me, this was based off of a cartoon?
No, it's a video game.
Oh, a video game. So I guess I thought this was going to be a cartoon because of the nature of what it is. I thought it was about battling cars.
Well, the video game is. The show is not. Spoilers coming now. The second season is going to be, which is really weird. So the full first season is essentially a prequel to what is the video game. And it is like a tournament of car battling.
Okay, I guess like what I thought of it as Cars, animated movie. Like what's it called when like you give inanimate objects like a personality, a brain or whatever?
Personification.
Yeah, like that's what I thought the show was going to be. I didn't realize that there were people driving the cars
That's
for some
silly.
reason.
You're silly. But I guess I never really did. You know, sometimes I just assume Irma knows what's in my mind. Like, obviously, I know what Twisted Metal is, but Irma doesn't know that at all. And there hasn't even been a relevant one in a long time. So even her basic knowledge of like modern video games, it made me really want to play the game though, and I can't because it's only on PlayStation. But the first season is basically just a cross-country road trip with Anthony Mackie and Stephanie Beatriz, who's so good. Again, as usual, she's always good, but she has so much more personality on this than she did in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But like she really buoys Anthony Mackie. She made like their interactions together and their eventual love affair.
Which one is she on Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Like the serious, the one that was like deadpan.
The Hispanic woman?
Yeah, well, they're both Hispanic.
Both
main women are Hispanic.
Straight hair, curly hair.
Curly hair.
Okay. Yes, I like her a lot.
Not Jake's girl, wife.
Right.
Whatever. Yeah, she was really good. And then there's like a bunch of cameos. Jason Mantzoukas is in it at one point. The one thing, so the show also really relies on Sweet Tooth. And if you know anything about the game, he is like the character that's been in every single version of the game. It's a clown that drives an ice cream truck, and he's kind of like the center of the story of every game. And what they did is they used Samoa Joe's body, who is a retired wrestler, or actually he might still be in AEW, but he's like an older wrestler because he has to be like big and brooding. But then they didn't want to use his voice. And I guess they didn't find someone that was big like that, but could also do the voice. So he's wearing a clown mask, so you can't see his mouth, but it's Will Arnett's voice.
That's so weird.
Will Arnett with like a lot of manipulation to make it deeper and like more, but you can like tell it's Will Arnett. And then the Samoa Joe, the body actor, is doing like a lot of emoting with his hands. And so like he's really overacting it because he's not speaking.
Yeah.
And then they try and line it up, but it doesn't always line up. And like some things, like just knowing that it wasn't the same guy,
that is so
sometimes
weird.
takes you out of it, of like thinking about.
How'd you know? Like you could just tell the voice?
Tell, like one episode in, I was like, oh, that's Will Arnett's voice. And that's
Batman.
obviously not, you're right, Lego Batman.
Yeah.
That is obviously not Will Arnett's body.
Yeah.
So like then you realize like, oh, it's all voiceover. And then I looked it up and like they've done interviews, the two of them
Well, that's
together.
funny.
But like Sweet Tooth is really, really, really cool in this show. He's just like, sometimes you watch it and be like, oh, you're like emoting so much and the voice isn't lining up. But yeah, then it all led to season 2 is gonna be the car tournament. And like they started introducing different characters from the different games. That's why I wanted to play it. I kind of forgot. Then I Googled all the characters. It was a lot of fun. I'd recommend it.
Did you finish it?
I finished it quick. It was exciting. The love affair was compelling. And I was like actually rooting for it to work out. I won't say whether it does or not. Things are still up in the air. Sweet Tooth was awesome. There's the guy from the Birthday Boys sketch show, which I loved. The bigger, fatter guy. I can't remember his name. He's like Sweet Tooth's henchman, like sidekick at one point. It's just like, so they know it's kind of funny. And it starts to get very actually funny. So it just took me a while to realize that. It's not what I expected. And then Justified is back. And if you've been listening to Zach for any amount of time and the Excitometer TV from the beginning of the year, from August, from July, I forget, I was very excited for Justified, one of my favorite shows of all time, to come back. And it had big shoes to fill. And I think it's there in theory, but not quite as good, which I think is to be expected with any sort of reboot or retelling. It's missing what made Justified so cool was it was in like, the back countries, the hollers of the United States, things we don't often see. Although more and more we have been, but this was 15 years ago. And now it's just in Detroit. So it's just like city crime. Raylan Givens is just as good. Timothy Oliphant, so good. He's like just so, you just feel so confident when you're with him. Everything's going to be okay. And he's going to figure it out and do whatever it takes. And they are kind of pushing back on that a little bit, which is interesting. Like his kind of outlaw cop, like I can beat some guy up and I'll always do what's right, even if I have to cross the line a little bit. That is being challenged a little bit, which I think is interesting in our modern times. But the big problem is the supervillain. So Justified was always kind of like Batman, of being like the best villains. So what makes Batman so good is the villain. Better villains than any other superhero franchise. And Justified kind of followed in that footsteps. It's like Caitlin Dever was on it as a really young girl, and she absolutely killed it. Now she's gone on to become much more famous. Margot Martindale famously won her Emmy for this show in 2011. And when she won, she did a really awesome speech about like not giving up on your dream, because she was obviously an older woman at that time and had a career, but not like a massive career. And she won the Emmy, and she was like obviously lifted to much greater heights. And she made this really great speech about not giving up and continuing with your dream. And like, so she was awesome for the season she was on. And then obviously the Joker to Raylan Givens on Justified was Walton Goggins as Boyd Crowder. You
mean Baby Billy?
Yeah, Baby Billy. Uncle Baby Billy was one of the best crime villains in TV movie history. He was so freaking good. And like, he just had a relationship with the hero, and it was just so well crafted. And now, funnily enough, Boyd Holbrook, the actor, is now the super villain of this new season, and he feels too villainous.
Who's Boy Holbrook again?
He was in Indiana Jones. He was like the henchman
right.
guy. He's doing a fine job. Like the acting is fine. He just seems so unrealistic as a human, and like his ability to get away with everything that he's getting away with currently. I assume they're going to catch up with him and take him down. That's kind of what the show does. But like, he's like so villainous, just murdering people, getting away with it. They know it's him. They know that he did it, and they just like can't get like, prove it. I don't know, Raylan, prove it. Like, it's just like that part of it is just driving past them after they're arresting different guys and like waving at them, giving them handguns. Like he just feels a little bit too much. But we'll see. I think it's all good. Obviously. Oh, well, we'll see. Who knows? Maybe he'll take down Raylan and I'll be shocked. But that's like, it's good, but he had such huge shoes to step in, and it feels like his character is just so outsized and ridiculous. But it's good. It's still a good show.
How many more episodes do you have to watch?
No, I'm caught up.
Oh, you're okay.
Yeah, so now it's just coming out. Yeah.
I see.
And finally, it's movie time. We didn't go to the movies, obviously. This is kind of a slower month, as we discussed. August, not much is coming out. But Irma was getting lots of social media about this new Amazon movie called Red, White, and Royal Blue. So I said, let's watch it and we can talk about it.
Well, I said I want to watch it.
And I allowed. I said, yes, that will make good content. And I do think it'll make good content. So Irma, was Red, White, and Royal Blue a good movie?
So this movie, it is basically just a typical rom-com, except it has a gay story in the center of it, which I think is amazing. And I kind of love that it's bad at the same time. Like, I know that like I feel like it should be just normalized now, and maybe it is, you know, and like they can have like a gay romance could also just be a bad movie. Yep. I know that sounds so dumb, but I kind of wish I did read the book for this. I didn't. I remember at the time when it came out, I had just read another book that was so similar, and I was just like, I don't want to read another book about the royal family. The book I read was The Royal We, and it was similar because it was like an American who marries Prince Harry, and this was before Prince Harry and Meghan Markle got together, and so I was like, I don't want to read another book about the prince marrying an American, and it like I don't know. I was like, okay, this is too much. But yeah, this definitely seemed like a really good story. I enjoyed the actors. I mean, especially one of them I thought was very good looking.
Which one?
Tyler Perez. Yeah.
He's certainly the better looking one. I also think he's the worst acting one.
Yeah.
Here we are attacking actors again.
And for this instance, I think it was justified. I mean, no one was really that great. I mean, even Uma Thurman, who generally I think of as a really good actress, was like, she was okay.
Yeah. So we'll get back to Uma. I have to say, so we turned this movie on. I had no idea what it was. I just said, okay, we'll watch it. Within the first 10 minutes, I said, Irma, what is happening here? Who told you to watch this? Then I adjusted. I said, okay.
You got on your computer and started doing other things.
No.
Yes,
I finished one thing, but I was still watching.
Okay.
I just had to like settle in that we were watching your classic, trashy, stupid rom-com. And then, also I think it got better.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like even
once they were together, you know,
once they were like the stupid rivalry that like they think that people think they have to put in rom-coms because Jane Austen did it 200 years ago.
Well, I said that to you. I just feel like it is such. I think it's like every rom-com is about like the love-hate relationship between couples, and then they finally get together after they realize that they actually love each other.
Oh yeah,
it's like the same thing.
Yeah,
it's always
rivals, and they're so rude to each other, and then oops, I love you. So like, but what they actually got past the rivalry pretty quick because they had a lot of ground to cover with them being secret, like in a secret affair. And then they did touch on them being gay and like how that would be perceived in the world. And you said that, you heard that the book does it a lot deeper.
Yeah, like in the book that there's a lot more queer characters. That I want to say he actually, Tyler, the American president's son.
Alex.
Right. Well, I was just
Taylor
using
is his.
Oh, Taylor is his
Yeah.
real name. Okay.
Alex is the character. Alex and Henry.
Yeah, so he actually has a sister in the book as well. And apparently she's a lesbian in the book. Then he has other gay friends. So yeah, I feel like I don't understand why they cut that out.
Well,
and
you
then,
got to streamline it for movies.
I
That always happens.
suppose.
Yeah, so they obviously, I mean, it was like a stupid, schlocky, cheesy rom-com, but they did address what it would be like if the prince, even though he was the, what do they say? The spare, right?
Spare.
Because he's not the heir.
Yeah.
Because his older brother was like the classic snooty piece of shit Brit. But like still, so obviously we know from real life that like Harry was pretty shunned for just marrying a black woman.
Yeah.
And like, I imagine it was a black man, or like, it would be even worse.
I know.
Well, in this case, it was a Hispanic man.
Yeah.
But like, so it is interesting, and it is basically the biggest conflict in the movie. So like, they don't avoid it.
No, not at all.
It is kind of the center of why it isn't just all romance. Like they don't actually get in a fight, like how some rom-coms kind of like make up some garbage fight, or like, oh, I can't be with you because of X, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It was like, no, they loved each other. There's just like greater forces at play. Which
is kind of like standard for any like royal fan fiction type of story. Like in the Royal We, it was the same exact thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like a trashy, funny. I mean, do you want to talk about the only funny parts of this movie?
Yes, Sarah Shahi had two just like banger monologues.
Yeah.
Where it was like legitimately funny, a laugh out loud few moments of, I know the one where she caught them in the room together and she just has like a biter meltdown and just is scolding them all. But then there's one before that, and I couldn't remember what she was. I think it was just another, like she was scolding the son.
Yeah.
But she was so funny. Apparently she's in Netflix's Sex Lives, but it was pretty good. She was really funny. And Uma, I don't know Uma.
Yeah,
like
I don't know.
as much as I'm saying this movie actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be in the first 10 minutes of watching it. Like I actually think it was, well, Sarah Shahi was funny, and then like the romance.
She was the only comedy of the whole thing. Like when we say a rom-com, it should be funnier, but it really wasn't.
Well, Taylor Perez was supposed to be funny, and he just wasn't.
Okay.
Like he made some goofs about, he's not actually 6'2" and like that. He had Anthony Mackie syndrome where it's just not funny. But like, I thought the romance was, classically cheesy, but I was rooting for them. And then like the parts where they did confront the troubles of coming out in front of the nation and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they were really effective. And both of us choked up at one point when they went into their serious speeches.
Yeah.
So like, it wasn't bad. I don't think it was bad. It was stupid.
Yeah.
But like, it was good enough. I had a fun time.
Yeah.
But like, I still, even on top of that, like, man, sorry, Uma has fallen.
Yeah.
From being like Quentin Tarantino's go-to gal to like, she's like a bit part playing a female president, turning Texas blue, doing a Texas accent. I don't know. Like, keep getting them checks, Uma. Good for you.
Yeah.
You were in an Amazon movie. But man, like I just, but they always say it's so hard for older women, like women as they start to get older.
I know.
In Hollywood, there's just not as many roles. And like Margot Robbie and all them are hogging up all the hot people roles.
True.
And like Uma Thurman is like, well, what do I do as an aging woman? You become the president, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I loved that. I wouldn't mind a woman president. So Uma could be our president.
Not with that accent. It's like a bad Texas accent. Yeah. So I don't know. It wasn't bad. Check out my TikTok review. I think it was pretty good. It was, but yeah, Irma hinted at it. And I think I even said this with Elemental when you were talking about like, oh, it's a immigrant story. And I was like, yeah, immigrant stories can also be bad, and that's good now. Like, we can't just be celebrating something and say it's good because it is something that we want to champion.
Yeah.
Like, we want to champion these gay stories, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And we're super happy that they could just put out like a trash run of the mill Hallmark level.
Oh, it was Hallmark level for
rom-com.
sure. Yeah.
And it's just like, it just so happens. And it's about a prince, like classic,
exactly,
like Netflix garbage.
Yeah.
But they're gay.
Yeah.
And like that didn't change the story at all.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's good. We could just
Yeah.
like, gay stories can be bad now. Immigrant stories can be bad.
Yeah.
They should just be normal stories that you can tell.
We're really turning a lot of people off in this episode.
But we liked this movie.
I know.
It's just like, it's trash. It's cheese.
Yeah.
So, we're
Very
not going
cheesy.
we're not going to the Oscars with this movie.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I want to give people like a clear idea of what this is. We're not saying it's a great movie,
No.
but it's trashy. It's like, just, yeah. If you're looking for just like a whatever movie to put on.
But I think on top of all, I think it is a good version of this movie.
Sure.
Like, just know what you're getting into, but ultimately it did work.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of this movie that just simply doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're saying it's bad, but good. So yeah, that's it. Quick one, kind of. Even when I think it's going to be quick, I yammer. I'm sorry. Next week, what are we going to talk about? We're going to blast through Silo. Let's blast through Silo.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll have it finished. That's one episode a day, and we can do it faster. And then I think we should go see Blue Beetle.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah. Immigrant stories. Immigrant
Hispanic.
stories can be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hispanic stories can be bad.
No, Hispanic stories cannot be bad.
Maybe it'll be good.
Yeah.
The reviews are not out. There's nothing out.
Oh, weird.
So that could be good or bad.
Yeah.
Presumably
bad.
bad, but maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know. When they do that, it means it's bad.
Not always.
Mm.
Not always.
Thank you to Craig for the production assistance, and thank you to John Welsh for our intro and outro music.
Subscribe, please, so you know every time we post a new episode. Also, if you haven't already, just pop a 5-star review in Apple or Spotify. It helps if people start Googling movie podcasts, and it'll just be right up there. And follow us on all of the social medias at Talkin Tent, no G. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Do it all.
Not YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. We've been posting slowly stuff on YouTube, getting things going. TikTok is popping off. Yeah. Thanks.
From our living room to yours, what do you want to watch?